the sun. And when it's Sunday, you know that the critical eye will definitely grace your day. And today, we grace it in style, because with the code, the most talked about topic in Kenya's politics, and that is nothing apart from the fall of the Building Bridges initiative. As usual, I have a panel dying to air their opinions on this heavy topic, and I know for sure that you are even more eager to hear what they have to say. But first, let's take a short commercial break, and later on, we shall break for you this controversial development, piece by piece. Welcome back. As I said before, I have a panel, and today the faces on our show are not so new, but for formality's sake, I will give them 1 minute each to introduce themselves and maybe say a word or two, starting from the gentleman from my left.
Thank you very much. I'm Tida Chirombo from Siaya, Gimsano County. I'm glad enough to be part of this project.
Yeah, you're welcome to the Critical Eye. On my left,
I'm Vincent OPIYO. This is not the first time being invited in this panel. I really appreciate for this honorable invitation.
you're welcome to the Critical Eye. And finally, on my far left,
Thank you so much for having me on board. I'm Kirui Humphrey, the University of Nairobi Student President, Kisumu Campus. Once again, thank you.
you're welcome to the Critical Eye. So we move to our business of the day straightly, and I am going to ask maybe my panel over here to maybe tell me, is our topic today is it the right way to describe the turn of event when it comes to BBI? Is it right to say that the initiative is officially dead? Maybe my friend Kirui will start the show for us.
Actually, BBI is not dead because if, for example, assume today we proceed for general elections, maybe come next year, 9th August 2022, I mean. If it goes to the Supreme Court, and then it happens, for example, the Supreme Court upholds what has been done by the Court of Appeal and the High Court, I think still, in the near future still, BBI has to go through. Because I can give an example. If we can recall, sometimes back in 2005, when the Honorable the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, in 2005, he wanted to have a constitution, but it means they have a disagreement between by then the President Mwai Kibaki, but he went on and formed the Orange Democratic Party in 2005, which the party that led him to election in 2007, but they came together in 2010, of which the government, they voted heavily for the promulgation of the Constitution 2010, which is this book. And I remember it took time since our forefathers, the first president, we didn't have our own constitution. The second president, we did have our own constitution, but when the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, they joined hands with the president, because by then he was in the government. We came to have our own constitution. I also believe if the Supreme Court will have, maybe they differ with what the Court of Appeal and the High Court. Maybe they can pinpoint some of the issues and they agree, and some they disagree. Maybe it goes through, it will be a plus for us, the Kenyans, because it will expand. I think it will expand line of what? Is it leadership, whereby even youths, with the youths, we feel even our voice should be recognized. We feel even our voice, we should be part and parcel of the constitution amendment, for example, something like that. But it's not that like because you're my father, you feel like I am still young. I cannot contribute anything towards coming up with a constitutional amendment. That's wrong.
So in a nutshell, the parties involved are not just going to give up like that. They will still come up with the document, maybe today or later on in the years to come.
Yeah, they are not going to give up.
Okay.
Because the parties involved, even with the youth, we are rallying our support behind those parties involved, because those opponents of the constitution amendment, I think they have the what we term as a self-interest. If we have your self-interest, I think you can, in certain issues, you need to shelve your interest, but have the interest of the Kenyans at heart, so that at least for this one, we sail together.
Okay.
So there, after the end of it all, I think we can have a certain discussion also where we can propel Kenya to the next level.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Tindo,
Yes.
what can you say about this? Is BBI completely dead, or it's still alive, or it's on the ICU, maybe on the coma?
Thanks once again for inviting me in this show. I think it is very uncultural or commodern to use the word that the media is dead.
Why ungood?
It is uncultured because we are just in a break now. You know, amendment of the Constitution as per the Article 255, 256, and 257 entails a lot. And what I know and what I believe in, that even the Right Honorable himself said once a time when he was in Nakuru, that we are going to respect the ruling from the court,
And he has respected.
and we have respected it. After that, we will take the BBI, put in the envelope, then move on and journey up with our focusing on what we are in 2022. So, what Right Honorable meant by this was very simple. Up to now, we are going for a certain war in 2022, and you cannot go for any war carrying many luggages. A big luggage that was holding us was BBI. We are giving a break for BBI as we now journey up for 2022 presidency of Raila Odinga.
But
After 2022, after I have now in power, we have all the mandate to change and to follow everything that the court itself wanted for the amendment of the BBI.
But if you're keen, the court, the High Court, unanimously threw out the bill. And that also happened with the Court of Appeal, irrespective of some few dissenting comments. What tells you that this thing is still alive when the courts of this country have...
Let me take you back in part of our history. When you were amending, or when we were in the constitutional review of 2010, which was promulgated on 26th August, the people who are behind, all the force that was behind the new constitution was the president at that time, Mwai Kibaki, and the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. If you are following the proceedings of the court, the High Court and the Court of Appeal argued that it was unlawful for the president to constitute a constitutional change. I think I'm right. But if they are saying so, it means even the 2010 constitution that now we are using, it is null and void. But now, because we don't want many running narratives, say yes to full.
So according to you, now that they say it was unlawful, and you believe that that is not the case, what might have informed the decision by the two courts? Because it was almost unanimous.
Actually, according to the constitution that now we are using, it is what gives even the judicial power to on the journey. It's not there.
All that thought for now. I'd like to hear from Vincent. Is BBI dead, or it's an understatement? Or
Have a cup of tea with the wise men. I will start by saying this. What an old man says while seated, a young man will never say even when he climbs the Mount Kenya. This is an initiative that has been formed with our great leaders who decided to bury their political differences and sit down. And they did not only sit down, they formed a committee of experts that did some sort of investigation on the problems that that Kenyans are facing, especially during and after elections, after every electioneering period. So they've realized that there is a very big problem with our executive office, and they said that this issue of the winner take it all. So they sat down and they drafted and said they formed some few positions which will be taken maybe society, community, or with some sort of leadership distribution. So the intention of PPI is good. One, as an Eastern political student, one characteristic of a constitution is it must have a space for amendment. And the space of amendment makes us realize, and as we grow, we keep on realizing the problems that we are facing as a nation. So we cannot rubbish the amendment out. But the initiative has attracted two different forces.
But Vincent, you said something about forming, demystifying the question of winner takes it all. But you remember, if you read the preamble of our constitution, it states that Kenya is a democratic state, and in democratic states, it's always winner takes it all. You can't force the masses with someone who probably lost an election free and fair. So, what gap was building against the initiative by saying winner takes it all? Winner takes it all proposal.
When you follow the history of our nation, especially after every election, specifically from 2007, 2013, and 2017, our election has not been that inclusive. Mostly, it always set people apart to an extent that our nation always goes to be divided into two. That is, one community face that is more represented than the other. So these people sat down that, no, what can we do? Let's form or include some political position that after election, a certain community or a certain group may be given the position of premiership, maybe Kalenjins are given deputy premiership, lawyers are given deputy president, if a law is a president. At least the majority of the Kenyans or the tribes, they will feel included and they will take the government and then as theirs.
Thank you for that. Tindo, now you mentioned something about, the decision of the court being something that they just thought of. So, some people have blamed the already sour relationship between the judiciary and the executive on this decision. Now, some people say that it's kind of a power struggle between the executive and the judiciary, who is mightier than the other. What can you comment about that? Is it about the sour relationship, or the court made a logical decision, or the court made the right decision in nullifying the building of this initiative?
Thank you. I think it is not a matter of power struggle or of supremacy matter. As I said earlier, we have the three arms of the government. We have the legislature, we have the judiciary, and the executive. The judiciary is an independent body on its own. They make decisions on their own regarding on what we table up on them, we table up before them. As per the constitution, still I will just take you back to this constitution, because it is this constitution of Kenya that is now giving us even the powers that we can sit here and discuss such things. Article 2.3 of our constitution, which talks about the enforcement of the bills and rights in connection to 165, states very well that the judiciary have their own time to get to have a fair hearing for any petition tabled before them. After which, they will have their own time again to do what? To make their own decision regarding on the same constitution, if in case the justice can be prevailed. So I cannot say that it is a matter of power struggling the way some people now say, that it is a matter of now the president and his deputy. Not really. The judiciary did their best. Why is it now we want to blame the judiciary? In 2017, when they they nullified the election that was done, we appreciated them. Yeah. Today also let us accept the way Right Honorable Molo said that we are going to respect the ruling. But it is not the end of the journey. People thought now that now in Nyanza here, when the BBI was now, what we expected did not come out. People thought now the journey of Raila Amolo Odinga is now coming off. BBI was not meant for Raila or for Uhuru Kenyatta to extend this term in the office. As for the Constitution of Kenya, it states very well at the period that the president and his deputy should be in the office, which starts immediately after the election. After that, swearing in. Then again, in the time when now the election, we are going for election period, when now the parliament will now be called off. It's now when the president now starts losing some of his power.
Kenya, our nation is growing, keeps growing. And if you look at the history of our nation, most of the time, in fact, before we attain or we got the new constitution, the executive had the absolute power over the judiciary. The judiciary did not have its independence. But with the promulgation of the new constitution, the judiciary have realized some of the freedoms that they were not enjoying the past regimes. One, if you look at 2017, what they did brought a very big difference between the executive and the judiciary. But what we do is their decision, and they make that decision based on the evidence that has been tabled in their desk.
But for the people who are decrying the judiciary for making this decision, do you want to tell me that they're just simply dissatisfied with the independence of the judiciary, or they have reasons, they have logical reasons to decry?
I think it's also an opportunity for them to practice their independence.
Okay.
That's why you've had our president, he has not complained. He has respected the decision of the court. The former prime minister also respected the decision of the court. It's one of the things that we've been fighting for long. The independence of the judiciary. It shows that our nation is growing, and we keep respecting the decision made within our judicial system.
Thank you much for that. Maybe Kirui can add on what you had to say, or maybe we can dissent.
Maybe if I can add one thing about the unhealthy relationship between the executive and the judiciary is like, if you can just go like 4 years ago, when we concluded the 2017 general elections, by then the Chief Justice, the Honorable Maraga, he nullified the general elections, and the current president and his deputy didn't expect that the Chief Justice is going to nullify the general election because of the malpractices that we experienced during the general elections.
Other elections, maybe you guys, however, you insist that judiciary is not to blame, and the relationship between judiciary and executive did not inform much of the decision, in as much as it might have an effect. But then, who is to blame for this turn of events? Is it the steering committee, or is it the president? Because if you look at what the judiciary, what the judges in the Court of Appeal and the High Court said, they said that this process, most processes involved were unlawful. So who is to blame, really? the steering committee, did they do enough research, or is it the president, he was trying to force this thing down the throat, and his brother Raila Odinga, or who really? Maybe Vincent?
There's the decision that was made by our court has caused a lot of blame games. Both one group is blaming the judiciary, another group blaming the committee of experts that were given this mandate to organize BBI in this initiative. I think it's time that we should not play blame game as a nation. One, this was a popular initiative, and they wanted to do it through a referendum. And a referendum is a yes or no decision made by the common mwananchi. So if it was supposed to be, according to me, the decision was supposed to be brought to the citizens, and they either accept a document or reject it.
But if you look at the quotes, they say it was not a popular initiative. At the same time, the members of the yes side, those who are supporting the document, they insisted that they collected some signatures. Who is telling the truth in this line?
That's when we say the two groups are not agreeing. The two groups are not agreeing.
So nobody is lying and nobody is telling the truth.
Yeah, nobody is lying, nobody is saying the truth. And when it reaches to that point, they need to sit down and they agree. They should make an amicable solution, bring an amicable solution to the next step that we should take as a nation, so that we don't waste our time and resources discussing and talking about the BBI initiative. And, the most thing that they have to do is just allow people to vote, to accept the document or reject it.
So they should have just carried on with the referendum to save time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think in this case it's a difficult thing to defend because when you heard about the verdict made by the Court of Appeal, they said that the president did not follow a certain basic steps of law. And in one way, may agree or disagree that before we came with our own constitution 2010, the one that we are enjoying right now, that is the one that has given us a lot of freedom to do what we want. You know, we had documents being published in your own mother tongue for you to read. It had given us a time so that the document can be printed in Swahili, in English, in your mother tongue. Then there are some people who came, maybe for example, to sensitize, to create awareness to the people, that they educate people that this document is about 1, 2, 3 things. And if we pass this document, these are some of the rights of we are going to enjoy. 1, 2, 3 things. But I think for this one, they could have given us a bit more time. They could have given the steering committee time so that, and even funding, for example, so that they can print a lot of documents. But for this one, for me, I have like the English edition, the one that was sent to us by the soft copy. And for me, I even went further to the county, my county government, and because my county government they passed the BBI, and I had the documents both in Swahili. No, not both in English. No, all of them are printed in English, and I have the documents in my office here and at home. So I think it was a matter of time. They could, and for this one, you see the proponents and the opponents of the BBI. You see, like the president and Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who is also advisor of the government right now. They were for this thing. Even as the youth, because we as the youth, we are fighting for our space inside it. But the opponents of the BBI, they were like, oh, they are coming up with a large luggage,
but you know,
burden that will pinch the taxpayers.
My friend, the steering committee and the proponents of the Green Religious Initiative, they really wanted this referendum to happen before election. And when you look at the constitution, there was no time for that. It doesn't stipulate time for that, especially now that we are just barely 30 months.
Not even that. No, less than 13 months.
Less than 13 months.
Actually, around
Next
11 months to the next delivery.
So, is it right? Is it right what you are saying that the court should have given the building legist initiative some more time?
No, I think this thing could have started a bit earlier. And so that we bring all people on board. We shelve our security
Okay.
to have the interest of Kenyans in front of us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Tilda,
Yes.
do you have anything to say about who is to blame for this kind of thing?
Yeah. You know, when we are in a, we went out in the field to hunt, and we are together, we are in one team. We first of all, we have already accepted that whatever we will get, we will share. So, in this part of BBI, the most people that are the direct people that you can blame, we start with our President William Samoei.
Why is that?
Why am I saying this one? You know, even if we are requesting that we could have been given some time. Remember, there's a time that the BBI reggae was going around, walking all the way where it was launched in Kisi. From there, it went to Ingo, Western. From Western, it moved to other countries. Then, before, we had a pandemic. We have to calm everything down. After that, when now the reggae we wanted to start reggae again, the DP and his team took the petition in the court. And remember, there was a petition that the BBI should not proceed.
But
you can
But we are in a democratic country.
We are in a democratic right, yes. But remember, this is a man who has always been against every change, despite the 205. 2010, when we are now voting this constitution, now the new constitution which we are using, it was against and voted.
But maybe
So,
he has some good reason.
Not that he has some good reason. Let me now deliberate on now, expand what I'm bringing now to the table. DP thought that BBI was meant for Raila to be the next president of the country. So he thought that now from BBI, Raila was going to get the right endorsement from our president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So up to there, he started now fighting the BBI. Remember, this is the man who first, after the launch of BBI, he came after some days and said he doesn't have anything bad with the BBI. But going deeply and now reading the BBI, he came out and now saying that now BBI is bad. So this is the man that now, even if the Kenyans are now blaming all the judiciary or what, if he could have come out clearly and unite the way he is now preaching the word of unity everywhere in the churches or what, we could now be living Kenya in a good hand. But being that they thought, and the people like now who are beckoning so much like no comment, they thought that BBI was what? Was for the was going to do to kill Ruto politically and give Raila presidency. That is where our downfall started with the BBI.
If you are following the legal argument within the courts of probabilities concerning the BPI, the major argument was the president's involvement in this thing. But the president is allowed to form a government of the president, the involvement of the president in this initiative.
Okay.
The same thing was done.
Well, that was for now. Now, thank you very much for that. Now, the aftermath of this court ruling, you know, the reactions that followed, they were very valid. You know, the deputy president praising it as a blessing in these days, the opposition leader or former Prime Minister Raila Odinga commenting that there is still need for the conversation to go on and on. And of course, when the president was in an interview with media editors, he said that he would is not satisfied with his government the way he does things, then he should resign. What can you maybe what can you comment on this? I mean, was the Building Bridges initiative a political tool or it was a people-centric agenda? And if that's the case, if it was a political tool or maybe a people-centric agenda, what's next for the parties involved? Maybe the proponents and the opponents, what's next for them?
I think for me, I agree with the president because, if we are not for this, but even the president give us the right to express our own opinions and ideas, like the deputy president. Currently, we know he was voted a long line, the president of the Republic of Kenya, that's His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and under the Jubilee ticket. But now you find the deputy president, he has gone further and formed his own party also, which for me I may feel like it's against, you are undermining the president. And here we have the three big guys. We have the president, we have the right honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, and we have the deputy president. And I think for the BBI, each and every individual will come on a table so that we bring our ideas together so that we can propel Kenya the next step. Like here you see like the deputy president wants the head of state, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, to come to him so that he can bend law to the deputy president that Mr. Deputy President, could you mind please come with me to the But I think that if the head of state managed to bring the ODIMA party leader Raila Amolo Odinga to the table so that they can bury their political differences for the interest of Kenyans, who is the deputy president? Yeah.
So, but maybe if I may ask this, if you are a keen follower of the deputy president and his speeches, he says repeatedly that since handshake, he has been naturally pushed out of Jubilee and thrown under the bus.
No, since handshake, I think when handshake was done, even him, he was there. I think my honorable members they can agree with me. He was there, and he even shook hands with his right honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And if you can see during that clip, he wore a blue suit. Raila Amolo also wore a blue suit. Kalonzo and the president actually they wore the same suit. And I took even if it came to the handshake, like it is good. Kenya we have initially we used to have the 42 sub-tribes in Kenya, but now we have close to 50. But it's good we unite all these sub-tribes to a single Kenya, so that we should not have something that called this is Kalenjin, this is Luo, this is Luya. And since the handshake, actually the political temperature of the country has calmed down. True, false? It's true. Because like if you can allow me to read something here, the obstacles to the reality of the nation. This one happened in South Africa. In Accra, the beloved country, while discussing the dramatic changes in South Africa as a country, one of the characters saying, the tragedy is not that things are broken. The tragedy is that they are not mended again. The white man has broken the tribe, and that is my belief, that it cannot be mended again. But the house that is broken and the man that falls apart when the house is broken, these are tragic things. That is why the children break the law. It suited the white man to break the tribe, but it has not suited him to build something in place of what is broken. You see that? Like we managed to break the tribe to come with one Kenya. Because like we could have the Kalenjin nation, the Luo nation, the Mlembe nation, but it was broken into one thing called Kenya. Like if you go to Rwanda, you are not even allowed, it's against the law. When you go to Rwanda to introduce this person as a Hutu, we have two major subjects, the Tutsi and the Hutu. When you go to Rwanda say, is it Tutsi? Then you might be jail, you might be detained. But just go to Rwanda and say, oh, I love Wanyarwanda. You say that Wanyarwanda. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Tindo.
Yes.
Maybe you can comment on that. If it was a political tool, what's next for the parties in general?
BBI was not a political tool. BBI was brought to unite all the Kenyans, because if you go through the BBI document, there is nowhere it was written in the BBI that now the next president will be this and this and it will be this person or this person. If we can go back to our history of our nation, when we start from 1960, where now everything, people were still under one roof. And I can remember very well going through the issue, reading the claim of the freedom and the right of the The first meeting that was done to unite our nation was done here in Kisumu, just here in Boys Stadium. And all the leaders from East Africa came. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was the host. We had Julius Nyerere. We had the Kapenguria 6 who are already been released. People like Fred Kubai, Achimwa Neko, Mungu Karumba. And we had also some leaders from Malawi. Temusi Manga was here. The athletes who are already who are away from the country were back. This is where Jaramogi said, no independence without Kenyatta. Kenya was one. Now we came now into our nation where after every general election, there is a fight and war and there is a bloodshed every time and then. We said no. It is now the right time, not that baby Pendo and Mora to be the last, that their parents are crying that after every election we cannot go back to our jobs peacefully. Let us come and now shake hands with the president and bring peace. Just give me a minute. After that, we came with now the BBI. How can we solve all this war and wrangles? Only if the Luo nation will be in the government. Kikuyu will be in the government. Ingo the same. All these other tribes can form the part of and parcel of the next government. And it is only BBI.
And now what's next for the parties involved? Maybe Raila Odinga, what will you try to do now about building the institution?
That is why I said early enough that actually if the BBI was political, then up to now Raila could have now even said he's not going to run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya come next year. But after that, after the fallout of the BBI, he said that he's going to be in the race. So meaning BBI was not even going to drive him to be the next president of Kenya.
Okay.
So up to this, I said it earlier that Raila was carrying a lot of luggages. When we are running with you, we are in the competition. You are 300, but me, I'm carrying one sack of maize on my head. Can I defeat you? Really. And even the people, even me, I'm not going to be the beneficiary of this one sack of maize. It is other people who are going to benefit from it. That is what now Raila was trying to do. Raila was carrying one sack of maize on his head. Okay. And the beneficiaries of this thing were now even the common wananchi and some of the leaders, people like Davadi, Kalonzo, who now are waiting. Now BBI have passed. Now Baba, where are you placing me? Am I going to be Prime Minister? Okay. Or I want to be there. Okay. Now BBI was not a political
and maybe to all of us have read the document. The root of the opponents, the root of allies, the proponents of the BBI. Then we see together maybe which point should be removed and which one should be added. Then we sit around the table so that we pass these things once and for all. And as much as my colleague here said that if the Supreme Court still nullifies the records that the BBI is null and void, we can still go back to Parliament as legislative house. And we can pinpoint some of the issues that should be removed, and we'll see if we take it to the people, will it be accepted? It can be. Yeah, right. Like for example, right now, like the county government here, and Raila Amolo Odinga has been meaning well for the country. And like he was even behind the 2010 constitution, whereby you see the county government. For me, I think it was his brainchild. Because the way county government is being run is not the way Raila Amolo Odinga wanted it to be run. But as him today is the president, I think it could be run as per the way he thought. He is my maybe when you're still once.
Yeah. Okay, thank
That
you.
is how I do it.
Yeah, so we'll give Timbo time to wrap it up.
Thank you very much, my friend. Taking a petition again in Supreme Court, it might not be very easy because we are running out of time also. But again, the committee also have another option of doing this amendment through the parliament. Because remember, Article 1 of our Constitution talks about the sovereignty. And the sovereignty power you can exercise it directly or indirectly through your elected body. Meaning, even amendment of this Constitution, if it is very hard, we can do it through the parliament. But I don't see the way Attorney General, because if you read the Constitution, Article 156, 6 of it, if you read the function of the Attorney General, you come and underline clause 6, and you will get to say that the Attorney General is the legal advisor of the government. Again, is the one in charge of upholding the rule and serving it into the interest of the public. So, Attorney General, Attorney General talking of like is going to take this petition into the Supreme Court. I think this one is just a matter of giving the ruler team, or the opponent, or the deputy president, who have now come out and said that now is the enemy of the government, a place of what going on, of getting some argument. Because let me give you a good example. At now, if you want to enter a certain gate and there's a wild dog there, what will you do? You will look for a piece of meat, throw the other side. The time the dog runs for the meat, you get your chance to enter. So the time the people like the team of DP will be still concentrating in BBI, meaning for us we will be getting a place of moving on. Yeah. So I think that is the thing. I think it is the play game that these people are trying to play.
Thank you very much. So we've come to the end of our discussion today, gentlemen, and I want to say that I really enjoyed hosting you guys, and I look forward to hosting you not once, not twice, but many times in the future. But as we wrap up, I would like you to give you 30 seconds each, maybe to say something to the Critical Life fraternity, to our subscribers, tell them to keep subscribing and following us on YouTube. Maybe starting from Ben Kiruya, Tom Kiruya.
Thanks once again. It has been my first time being on the show, and I think with the time I'll be also be senior like Honorable Tindo and his honorable here, Honorable Vincent. But I also wish to tell those people who are watching our show here to subscribe in large numbers. Yeah, and also maybe yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent.
Yeah.
I want to appreciate our host, Mr. ODIMA, for giving us this humble time to discuss and to talk about the touchy issues concerning our nation. This is a great initiative and is a great beginning that has given the youths a mandate to sit together and talk about issues that affect our nation, that affect us at large. I would like to encourage our viewers to subscribe and to keep watching, because this is where you get what is meant for you as a youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me appreciate you for hosting us. And the second thing, that the information that I want to pass to our people and the entire Kenya, that it is the time that if really we meant good for this nation, it is the time for us to choose a leader, but not just a leader. Let us learn to be bold on on our feet, rather than being dragged with some of the things that happened in 19th century. Like now, most of the people, if you're seeing them, the politicians are coming, they have different tools of campaign. But we have to be strong enough as youths, because what somebody want to offer us, like a wheelbarrow mkokoteni, it is something that was used in 19th centuries or 21st centuries, that even cannot provide anything on the table for us. It is the time to be strong and move on, and let us continue subscribing this channel, because soon we are going to be more life more than this. And as am I summarizing, let the Luo Nyanza this time round, let us come out and register as the strong voters, because this thing that this time round is ours. It is on the doorstep.
Okay.
I
Thank you for that. I hope your Luo Nyanza guys will are listening to you. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. And keep subscribing. And see you next week as we critique contentious issues of politics and governance. Because this is your critical eye.